Okay, back on the record. This is cause 6388844, State of Texas versus Kevin Hogan. This is a motion to revoke community supervision. Representing the defendant is Mr. George Sharman. Representing the state is Mr. John Stan Heinrich. Representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I will swear at this time. Ms. Gross, please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir, I do.
The first document I'm looking at in this matter is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference, which purportedly is signed both by Mr. Hogan and his attorney, Mr. Sharman. In fact, Mr. Hogan, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Sharman, as attorney for Mr. Hogan, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Judge.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has a right to appeal the court's actions revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Is this your signature on this document also, Mr. Hogan?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is this your signature as attorney for Mr. Hogan, Mr. Sharman?
Yes,
Mr. Sharman, my understanding is that this is going to be an uncontested motion to revoke community supervision. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Mr. Hogan, in cause 6388844 on the motion to revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir?
I plead guilty.
No, it's true, Kevin.
True.
Court accepts the plea as true with an explanation. Would that be accurate?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Hogan's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Hogan has done well as far as reporting. We last saw him August 18th of 2022. His case is paid in full to include restitution in the amount of $1,569. He has completed all 48 hours of his community service. He has also completed DWI education, victim impact panel, CAT-SNP, and a drug offender education program. He has had 9 negative drug tests, 1 diluted drug test, 1 confirmed positive for alcohol on February 10th, 2022. And he is currently on a scram device where he has had 12 alcohol violations. It appears that maybe there was a alcohol consumption event that occurred over a 2-day period, resulting in the positives for alcohol. His arrest history includes theft 500 to 1,500, credit card, debit card abuse, liquor license violation, driving while license invalid enhanced, liquor license violation, obstruction of highway, alcohol beverage selling, consumption during employment hours, beer selling, serving during illegal hours, TABC inspection refusal, forgery, counterfeit money, assault, bodily injury, married, failed to give notice, strike unattended, and driving while license enhanced. His officer is recommending that his probation be extended for a period of 6 months. He be continued on scram and he be sent to the CATS intensive outpatient program.
And Ms. Gross, my understanding is that this is the second motion to revoke probation. We heard the first one on Mr. Hogan back on April 27th, 2022. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And that one was denied by the court. He was continued on probation. And I believe a scram device was ordered because alcohol consumption was the primary problem back then also, I guess.
On that particular case, let's see, hang on.
And I think he hadn't done many programs, but he's done them all now. Is that kind of
Right.
where we're at?
He
Got it.
was ordered to obtain a scram device for 10 days for the duration of probation. However, you did agree to revisit the issue within 90 days. And he was also supposed to go to CATS IOP, which was ordered on January 18th, 2022. However, the conditions at that time had never been amended. And you ordered him to get into the CAT-SNP instead within 10 days. And then you said that the Smart Start could be removed once he was active on the Scram device.
Okay, he has successfully completed the Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And do you know what date he completed that?
I can get that for you.
Susan, I sent you a question via the chat messenger.
Yeah, hang on. I can
No,
only
take your
do,
time, man. Take your
I
time.
can only do 3 things at once here.
No, the judge takes.
It appears that he completed that around July the 5th, Your Honor.
Got it. Okay, Mr. Sharman, what are you requesting?
Judge, we're requesting that he remain on probation to keep the Scram device active on him. And if the court sees fit, you can extend the probation to assure the court that he's in compliance. We wanted to make sure that everything has been paid. He's done everything he's supposed to do. And I'm not sure what Ms. Gross is doing in terms of extending for 6 months, but I don't know that that's necessary, but that's entirely up to the court. Mr. Hogan is a bartender. He owns this bar. And there is a problem possibly that alcohol can get onto his ankle device. I'm not saying it did, that's a possibility. And I'm instructed him to put a plastic bag around his ankle so that it doesn't happen again. And, you know, I'm asking you to continue him on probation. If you want it for a more period of time, fine, Judge, or terminate in October on time. And my understanding is that the district attorney has not taken a position in the case.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Sharman, is Mr. Hogan's position that he did not consume alcohol in the 24 to 48 hour period of August 13th and 14th, that the probation department is saying they have 12 positives off the transdermal patch, I guess? Susan, is that what it is?
No, it's off
Oh,
of the
that's
Scram
Scram.
device.
Okay, Scram device. 12 positives off the Scram device between August 13th and August 14th, 2022. My question is the defense position that Mr. Hogan did not consume alcohol during that time frame?
Judge, our position is that we don't know, but his position is that if it registers as alcohol, then he must have, but he does not recall drinking that during that period of time. However, he's pleading true, and you know, I'm just saying that he wants to continue with that device, but I'm telling him to put a bag around his ankle so there's no chance that that could happen again.
All right. I basically got one question for Mr. Hogan, Mr. Sharman, and I would request your permission to ask him this question. And it's a very personal question, but it bears directly on what we're doing right now.
Yes, Judge, go ahead.
Hey, Mr. Hogan, you consider yourself an alcoholic?
No, I don't.
Okay, here's where this is coming from. You've got a prior obstruction. So that was a drinking incident. You're now on probation for DWI, and you've got your second MTR. I can't stop you from drinking is where this is coming from. And normally the only people I can't stop from drinking are people that are alcoholic. So, I mean, it's kind of a mitigating factor if you are. I don't, you know, I'm not asking you that just to try to embarrass you or put you in a category that you don't really, and you're the only one that would know that. I wouldn't know that. Your attorney wouldn't know that. But I can't stop you from drinking, and that's the only rational explanation I can come up with. Can you clarify that for me?
I'm in an environment around alcohol just about every day of the week. My bar is open 365 days, and due to a small staff, it's just me, maybe one other person. I'm primarily the owner, operator of that bar where I'm bartending. And since I've been on probation, like my attorney said, I plead true to what the Scram device has said, but I'm in environment where I'm exposed to alcohol. So I'm pleading truth to have taken that. But I don't remember it. I don't remember it. I'm in that environment. And it was a busy weekend. We did sell a lot of alcohol. So there was a lot of cups, a lot of garbage around. Like I said, the Scram device says that I did have alcohol in my system. I'm telling you that is true. And I'm not an alcoholic. I'm able to abstain. I've been abstaining for a year, but the environment that I'm in puts me at a very difficult situation where, there's alcohol around me. And I'm confident that I can complete my probation with no problems. I think my attorney gave me a very good suggestion to put the bag around my leg. I'm willing to do that. And I think that will stop anything and any question as to whether I'm ingesting alcohol or I'm an alcoholic or whatever question the court may have of me. I think that bag will quell any kind of alcohol substance around me. And I can show the court that I'm not an alcoholic.
Okay, sir, I'm trying to be as honest as I can with you, but in the last 70 years, I've probably been in bars as much or not more than you have. And I'm not buying your story that you're spilling alcohol on yourself. Okay, so you get that could be your story and it could be totally true, but I'm not believing it. So the bottom line is you're on probation. I appreciate your honesty and your candor. And by the way, what is your bar's name and where is it located?
It's the Reggae Bar, and it's located on San Pedro and Laurel.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Sherman? I've got a plan.
Well, no, Judge, I told you what we're wanting, and I think he's been very compliant with his probation. He's done everything that he's supposed to do and paid everything he's supposed to pay. And he's willing to continue to be monitored, willing to continue to pay for the monitor and his probation fees.
Okay. State recommendation.
Judge, may I address the court?
Sure.
State's I'm personally concerned for Mr. Hogan. He completed the CAT SNP program in July, I believe, and then the second violation occurred on the 13th and 14th, a Saturday and Sunday, about a month later. State's okay with continuing him on probation. However, I think Mr. Hogan needs to get some help, and I can't recommend punishing him for things that I think he'll probably do in the future if he doesn't get his drinking problem under control. State's recommending that he be continued and be required to be on scram for the remainder of his probation. However, if the court is seeking confinement for his violation and being his second, I would like to recommend that he be continued for a period of time sufficient for him to attend additional alcohol awareness and Alcoholics Anonymous classes under court supervision to see that Mr. Hogan gets the help that he needs. So continue on probation, and then the alternative, if the court leans the other way, extend probation for a period of time so Mr. Hogan can attend some classes and some programs to get some help.
All right, Susan, I'm sorry, go ahead, thank you. The textbook solution for a case like this is inpatient drug alcohol rehab. My understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is that currently in Bexar County, there is still a 60 to 90-day wait in jail for a defendant, even if he volunteers to go to SATA, our substance abuse treatment facility, which is our inpatient drug alcohol treatment facility. Is that correct, Susan?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Which doesn't really make that a reasonable choice unless the defendant really wants to seek help in that category. Mr. Sherman, I'm going to give you two options. And Susan, how long does it take for intensive outpatient? Is that not our last and only outpatient course that might be relevant in a case like this?
Yes, I believe it's 4 months to get it completed. And the class cost is right around $500.
All right, Mr. Sharman, here's your two options for Mr. Hogan. Either A, I will continue him on probation. He's going to stay on the scram bracelet till the end. We're going to have to extend him. He's going to be on intensive outpatient treatment and then he can successfully complete probation if he wants to do it that way. I'm going to give him a sanction of 30 days in jail. He's going to go to jail for 30 days because I can't reach him any other way, and I don't want him to kill himself or somebody else. He's got a historical trend of alcohol consumption. I can't stop him from drinking. I understand his story. I don't believe it. The other option is I can revoke him. He's got, this is a DWI greater than 1.5, is that correct?
Yes, Your
So
Honor.
I've got a year in jail. I'd give him 180 days in jail with the understanding that I only want him to do 30. So he would report to jail, he'd do 30 days, and then you got to let me know he's done 30, and I'm going to waive the rest of his jail sentence. But in the meantime, on the records, he's tagged because he's been revoked on probation. You want to go back in the back and chat with your client and see which one he'd rather do. If he really wants to help himself, he can stay on probation and do the outpatient stuff still, but it hasn't worked so far. I don't have a warm, fuzzy feeling it'll ever work. That's up to you guys.
I think we prefer to keep him on probation. And if you want him to have that drug and alcohol treatment program, I think he should do that and remain on the scram device. And if it, I guess it's 3 to 4 months, Ms. Gross, is that it?
What's that?
The
We
program,
have to extend to Mr.
Yes.
Hogan if we wanted to do intensive outpatient with Community Alliance or traffic safety.
yeah, that's what I suggest. Judge.
He would get a sanction of 30 days in jail, even though he volunteered to do that aspect of it. He's going to do 30 days in jail one way or the other. Either he's revoked and does 30, or he stays on probation and does 30.
Well, do you want 30 contiguous days or what do you want?
That would be correct. 30 continuous days.
And you can't do an ankle monitor, GPS.
I'm going to be brutally honest, and Mr. Sharman, you know me very well. He deserves the full 180 days in jail. I'm not giving him that only because you're his attorney and I know you have the ability to chat with these folks and make them understand what I'm telling them. But he's going to take a lick and do 30 days in jail, whether he stays on probation, and I'll be happy to do that if that's your request, or he gets revoked. The quick fix is he gets revoked, he goes to jail for 30 days, you let me know, and I waive the rest of his jail sentence. I can't reach him any other way. And you know exactly what I'm telling you. I know you got to do your job and represent Mr. Hogan. I can't get Mr. Hogan to stop drinking. That's the problem, and I don't want him or anybody else to die because I can't stop him from drinking. The mere fact I've got him on a scram bracelet doesn't stop him from driving a car while he's drinking.
Okay, well, let me,
Why don't y'all go in the chat room and talk about it and see what you want to do?
yeah, okay.
All right, thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, let me put you all in a breakout room. Okay, Mr. Sherman and Mr. Hogan.
And then we got Mr. Crawshaw still with us.
I
believe
guess not, Your Honor. He
on.
must have left.
Okay.
I was hoping Mr. Hogan was going to tell the story, but
We hear a lot of stories in this business, you and me.
yeah.